Welcome, everybody. Mike Martinez, and today I have the honor and privilege to interview one of the gentlemen that I consider a mentor of mine. I purchased a product of him a while ago, and I always thought he was ahead of the curve. And he's actually the chief marketing officer of High Level Strategies, which is a company incorporated in Florida. Him and his wife, Melinda Martin. His name is Omar Martin. And Omar, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you for joining me today, man.
Well, thank you, Mike. I really appreciate you introducing me to all of your followers, and I appreciate you asking me to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, I've been, like I said, I stumbled across you a couple of years ago when I bought your product, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, right? A great product that I thought was way ahead of its curve. And what I'd really like for us to start with is in introducing you and the product that you're launching. Let's kind of go back so that the people can understand where you came from, what your background is, what was your motivation when you got started in this industry of the online marketing, and what was your biggest obstacle to getting started? I know that's a lot to cover, but I'm sure you got a lot to say, so.
Right. Well, thanks. Yeah, my wife would say I have a lot to say as well because I don't shut up. But, no, it's a great question, and I think it's good that people understand who they're listening to, and before they just jump into buying any products and stuff, like understand why is this person in the industry and what are they doing and why should I follow them, right? So I think it's a great question. For me, my education was in medicine. I live in Florida right now. We work out of the house. This is actually a little office that I built in my house. And Melinda and I have run our company online for 12 years now. And we've just been full-time internet marketers. We have 6 employees, all virtual employees. And we've had our ups and downs in building our company like anybody else. But we've been able to create a really, really great life for ourselves as a result of creating digital products and launching them on the internet. And then in that process of doing that over the years, we realized that we needed a lot of different tools, and we hired programmers to create tools to help us run our business. And now we also create tools that we sell to help other people run their businesses as well. Like I said, when I started I wasn't always from Florida. I actually used to live up north in New Jersey, and I was a New York City Fire Department paramedic for many years. So I was studying medicine, but after September 11th, my whole life changed. I wasn't on duty, but I lost my partner, and it affected me greatly. So I actually left medicine completely, and I met my wife here in Florida, and we started doing door-to-door sales. I went from being a physician's assistant and working as a paramedic for the fire department. I went to selling door-to-door. So it was a very, very big, harsh change for me in my life. And that was in 2001, well, 2002. And then I kind of started everything all over again, because I wasn't using any of the stuff that I learned in my education because it was all medical. And now I was learning marketing and selling. And I ended up working for a company years later, and I became their national sales manager. And my issue was I hated having a boss. So now I knew these new skills, selling, and I was teaching other people how to sell. And they were going. I worked for a big pest control company, and they would go door to door in neighborhoods here in Florida. That's a big deal, right? Like pest control. So the houses have actual pest control systems built into the walls, and I ran a team that would go to the places where the communities where these pest control systems were installed, and we would try to sell the service. So I just got tired with the corporate, the whole had a boss, and no matter how hard you work, it's like you're always broke, because now you get the house, so you get the dog, you get the 2 cars, and we wanted something different. So around 2007, even though both my wife and I had good paying jobs, we were like up to here with debt and just trying, like everybody, just trying to get by. And I was like, man, we work so hard. We're both good, educated people. Why can't we, so I decided, well, if we're so good at sales, why not sell during the internet? The thing that drove me, Mike, to be honest, is I knew that if I can talk to people and I had a good product, I can get them to buy it as long as they need it. So it's a question of finding the people that have the need and then me explaining the product to them, because I was good at explaining it and getting them to want to buy it. And in the scenario that I explained, pest control in Florida, you need it. And your house already has the system. So as long as I could talk to you, I could convey the value in that and get you to buy. So the problem that we faced back then was that you really can only go to somebody's house during the day. So you're limited to the amount of time that you can go. So I can't work 24 hours a day. And then you're also limited to the time that people are home. Most people work. So I have a small window of time in the evening where I can get people at home. And I have all these sales reps and they're great at selling, but they just can't see enough people and have enough contacts in the day to make it value. So that really, like my whole job back then was about like, how can I see more people? How can I do? And I started realizing that calling people on the phone, setting appointments, doing kind of like digital marketing, sending emails, sending flyers, a lot of the marketing was more important than the actual selling, getting in front of them. So marketing and selling went hand in hand. I started learning that. And then I just got this crazy idea. I was like, what if I could sell 24/7? If I could sell stuff on the internet, because it's always daytime somewhere, right? So if I can get a product that's not pest control related, that's not seasonal, that's not just because of where I live, and that's when I started thinking, so the combination of all these things, like the fact that I was broke and working so hard and I hated having a boss, and the fact that I was like, I was looking for a better way to sell, that I didn't have to only limited time to sell during the day, going door to door. It took me to eBay. And I was like, well, I said, let me try selling stuff on eBay. But man, that required physical items and I wasn't very good at it. But I did find my mentor on eBay because I bought a book called The 90-Day Power Seller. And the moment I bought that book, I got a download link. And I was like, it blew my mind, right? Because I paid $12. I'm like, oh my God, I got the book, but I didn't have to like go to the post office. I didn't have to get a package. I got a link. And I never read the book because the fact that I now learned that I could sell links, I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to sell links. Forget this door-to-door stuff. Because I was like, the guy that just sold me this, he's a British guy from the UK. It must be like 3 or 4 in the morning for him. And he got my $12. So I was like, I've got to figure out what kind of digital products, what kind of books, how can I get into this? And that's when I started learning internet marketing part-time while I still had my regular job working for the pest control company. I started learning internet marketing, and I was blown away because the next day I got an email from the guy and he was promoting another thing. And I was like, how did this guy get my email? So I bought that thing too. And now I started learning what's internet marketing, like what's email marketing. And I was fascinated by it, man, and I started doing it, but I sucked. I couldn't get it. I struggled for like 18 months. I kept buying things. And I think it's the same kind of process that a lot of people fall into. Like you're excited by it. You know that you could do it, but you can't find your groove and you're buying everything. And luckily my wife was very supportive. And eventually, I stuck with it, kept doing, got coaching. And then we started launching products, and I learned, how to fail at launching products. And eventually we we started making money launching products, and took about a year and a half. And after about a year and a half of that learning curve, we had our first 6-figure product launch where we did over $400,000 in sales. And I was able to put $180,000 in my savings account, because that $400,000, you don't keep all that money, obviously, because you got to pay affiliates, you have expenses, but still like $180,000 in savings. That's more than we had ever in our life in savings, so it changed our lives, but I hate when I just tell that part of the story, because then people are like, oh yeah, that's easy. It's not easy. Like we had to work hard for 18 months to do it. And then once you get it down, once you learn all the skills, once you get the process down, it's just a matter of repeating it. So since then, that was, I started in 2007. So it was around 2008, 2009. That was the year that we really started making a lot of money. And since then, we've made millions of dollars online, and we now create products that help other people launch, like software tools and plugins, and we help people build their subscriber lists, and basically all the things that we learned, and we create tools that we use in our business, and then we sell them as well. We also do coaching to help people that are trying to build their business. So we've expanded, like we do a lot of stuff now, but that's my story in a nutshell. That's how it's worked out for us.
That's a great story, and it's totally inspiring. I'm sure for the people that are looking, for myself also. Let me ask you this, because you touched on something that I thought is important. You came in zero knowledge. Your whole career and training was outside of the marketing aspect, right? You met your wife. You got into sales and stuff. And then you said, I was selling on eBay, but I met my mentor through that first ebook that you bought, and said, wow, this opened my mind. I can now sell a link as opposed to just doing the physical stuff, right? What do you think was the one skill, if you could break it down to that point, the one skill that you picked up that really transformed your income?
Man, I wish that I could narrow it down to one. But if I did, then it would kind of do your viewers a disservice, because it would make them think that there's only one thing they got to do to really be successful. But more importantly, it would probably make them focus too much on that thing. And what I tell people is that the number one thing that I had to learn in order to be successful in business was how to be a better person. I know it sounds stupid. I know it sounds cheesy, but I had to become a better version of me to be successful online, because being successful online is no different than being successful at anything in life. It's just about being successful. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Most people abandon, conventional wisdom and just common sense when they turn to the internet. You ask any regular, responsible adult that's been working for any amount of time, and you ask them some common sense, but even though they're not rich or wealthy or business people, maybe they're just average people that have a career, that went to school, that have a job, and you ask them basic questions about opening a business, a lay person. You ask them basic questions, and they'll give you reasonable answers. If you said to a basic person, "Hey, if you wanted to open a business, what would you do?" "Oh, well, I'd have to learn what I want to sell. I'd have to get a store, maybe get a loan, get a location. I'd have to get products, maybe hire somebody." These are like common sense answers that anybody would say when you say, "What would you do if you want to open a business?" But all of a sudden, ask that same question, but throw the internet into it. And all of a sudden they abandon all common sense. They're like, well, oh shit, if it's the internet, I'm going to be rich next week. I don't need anything. It's all free. Right. And and they start thinking this way. And I had to unlearn that. I had to stop kind of thinking that way and realizing like, wow, it's a business, and I'm going to have to pay taxes. I'm going to have payroll for my employees. I'm going to have departments. I'm going to have customer service. I'm going to have a product to sell. It's going to cost me money to invest, to build that product, to create it. And I guess, man, to be honest with you, that was the hardest obstacle I had to overcome, is my own thinking and my own like wanting to get everything free and immediately wanting success. And that I always wanted that instant gratification. And like, I would get so pissed off if something didn't work the right way. So I really believe that out of everything that my wife and the other thing is my wife has been a huge part of our success. For that first year and a half, that first couple of years, I did it myself with her support. She wasn't involved in the business. But when she saw how I was getting results, she came and started working with us, which was great because she's better than me at a lot of things when it has to do with business, managing, the accounting, the bookkeeping and stuff. When it's a real business, so you got to do those things. And I started learning that as I was doing business. I started learning that, wow, I got onto I turned to the internet as a way to make money, but it's not just, in order to make that money, I have to do certain things that I don't enjoy. Like, for example, when I started growing the business and I wanted to scale it and made more money, I had to hire people. That required interviewing. That requires now managing. Now I have to give the people that work for me, I have to give them work every day. I have to review the work that they did. I have to have meetings. I have to do things like that. I didn't turn to the internet to do that stuff. But the fact that I started growing a business, Matt, I have to dedicate some time to do that stuff. So I was my own worst enemy, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people think that it's about like having the right, I need to have that software, and if I have that site and that webinar tool and that whatever, any gizmo. And I'm not saying you don't need tools, man. You do, because it's a business and it works online. So you got to have online tools and software. But all that stuff, man, that's like 10% responsible for my success. 10%. If you took every product I ever bought, if you took every training that I ever watched or listened to, and we put it all together in one place, and we compare it to it's only 10% responsible for my success. The other 90% that's responsible for my success is the drive, the dedication, all the weekends I had to give up, all the time that I couldn't, spend with my wife because I was building the site, the grit, the morning when I wake up and my whole website that I had done had crashed because I got hacked, and had to start over again. The time when I launched a product and I just approved every affiliate, and then they used my product to embezzle money and use fake credit cards. And I was a victim of this scam, and I almost lost my PayPal account, and it cost me $23,000, and going through all these things that I had to overcome. And after I went through them, still saying, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying, because just because this happened to me, I'm not going to stop. And those battles that I had to fight were a lot harder than the battle of how do I get my website to work? How do I get my autoresponder? How do I build my list? All of those things in comparison to those challenges of, man, overcoming the obstacles of me that I because I have a short temper. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the hardest part of this. So when you ask me a question like, what's the hardest obstacle you have to overcome? Some people might say, that's cheesy. This guy's talking about me. And the reality is that those people are out there continuing to think that their success hinges on a product, a thing, a gizmo, a widget, a button, a thing that they haven't found yet. They think that success is about the search, that I've just got to keep looking for that magic button, that thing that I'm going to buy, that eventually when I find it, I'm going to push it, and then everything's going to be great. And sorry, that's not how success is. All those things, those two, you can learn all that stuff on YouTube. You can buy all those products. Somebody asked me the other day about my websites. I use WordPress. It's just what I use to build my websites, right? Somebody said, well, Omar, I know a lot of people use ClickBank, and a lot of people use ClickFunnels, and a lot of people use this other thing. I think, maybe if I was using ClickFunnels, it would probably be a lot easier, and I would probably make a lot more money, And I said, your thinking is so flawed, and you're probably never going to make money until you address your problem, which is between your ears, and he got offended. Like, oh my God, how dare you? I'm like, what do you mean, how dare you? I'm trying to help you. So, it's no skin off my back. So, well, it's a fact. It's a fact that, because it got defensive. It's a fact that, ClickFunnels, it's easier and this and that and the other thing. And I said, listen, man, here's the bottom line. I did a special for Black Friday. We did $400,000. No, this year we did it was like $280,000 in sales for Black Friday. It was a special. We do it every year over the weekend of Black Friday, from Thursday to Cyber Monday. And we get a lot of affiliates. We drop a product price, and it's a special, and we make a bunch of money. So I built my site on WordPress for that, because I have a domain, bestblackfridaysale.com, and I built a custom site with Black Friday images and stuff. So I asked this guy, I said, let me ask you something, dude. Do you think that I would have, if I used ClickFunnels, I would have made more money? Or do you really think that the platform that I used to build the site is what determined how much money I would have made? Do you really think if I had an HTML site versus a WordPress site, same site, same offer, same product, do you really, really think that makes the difference, whether or not I'm successful? And then he was like, well, probably not. I'm like, no, not probably not. Probably not. It definitely doesn't, man. You're overcomplicating. You're dedicating your energy into something that you can blame. I'm not successful because I don't have ClickFunnels, or I'm not successful, or or you're deflecting like, well, Omar can do it because he has this or because he has that. And that kind of stuff, man, I can't help you with. I can help you with internet marketing. I can be an internet marketing coach. I can help you pick the right tool for what you're doing. But I'm not a psychologist, bro. I'm not a marriage counselor. I can't help you fix it. You know, same guy, you know, he's like, well, you know, my wife gives me a hard time. She doesn't like what I do. And I'm like, dude, I can't help you with that, man. Like you know, yeah, you know, if only you would talk to my wife for me and let her know that this is not. I'm like, bro, me talk to your wife. It's not my job to prove to your wife that internet marketing is legit. It's your job to prove to your wife that you're legit. If your wife don't trust you, it's probably because you haven't given her a reason to, you know, so I'm not a marriage counselor. I can't. So anyway, we all have different challenges in our lives. For me, it was becoming a better version of me that can run a business, that could be successful at running, you know, a company. Yeah, the other stuff is important. You got to have a website. You need hosting. Yeah, you can learn all that stuff. Just like you learned whatever career or whatever thing you do now, you can learn all that stuff. As long as you're patient, you give yourself some time. Dude, as long as you could use one of these and you know how to click on one of these, that's it. Because these are the tools that I use every day. We say, Omar, what tools do you have? I have one of these and I have one of these. I use the same tools you do. The difference is how much longer I've been using them and what I choose to do with them.
Very interesting. You know, I didn't expect that answer, but I fully, 100%, you know, I do a business aside from my online business, which is public adjusting. And in the state of Florida, I'm sure you know there's a lot of public adjusters over there. That's when you have damage to your home, you help people fill out the claim so they get the highest possible, right? Because sometimes the insurance companies are not so
right.
You know, generous. But the bottom line is I focus a lot of my attention on developing a person from the inside, because you're saying, well, what's the sales strategy? What's the Facebook marketing strategy? What's the website strategy? None of that works if you're not willing to put it in.
Right.
And a lot of people are, you know, I do a lot of video marketing. A lot of people, and I teach video marketing. A lot of people are just afraid to get in front of the camera for whatever reason, right? But until you can overcome those things through personal development, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, let's move on to Viral Traffic Boost, because this is the product that you're launching now. And I'll be honest with you, man, I've always admired what you do as far as the products that you create, because I feel like they're always ahead of their time. They're always, you know, a couple of steps ahead of their time, even sometimes by years, right? What would you say is some of the things that Viral Traffic Boost does, some of the problems it solves?
Well, that's a great question. I think maybe the way, and thank you very much for the compliment about my stuff being ahead. Everything that we create, we create it for ourselves. The one that you're asking me about, Viral Traffic Boost, is one that for about 2.5 years now we've been using internally, and we've been struggling with, man. I'll be honest with you, it took us a long time to get it right. I've had over 100 versions of this product. Okay. And there are so many things that it connects to make it work. There are so many moving parts to this software that getting it right, for about the last 6 months, it's just been working great. You know what I mean? And we finally figured it out, and we've been doing updates, and now we've got over 250 people that are testing it and using it, the beta testers, and it's just going great. We had 2 of my friends tested it the other day for their business, and within 3 days they made $10,000. No, I'm sorry. Let me get it right. They made a little less than $7,000, and they added over 1,000 subscribers to their list.
Wow.
And yeah, and we've been seeing great results for ourselves for a while with it now, as we started getting better and better at it. But then it's really, really awesome to see when somebody else can use it and be successful with it. So what it does is basically simplify a process that we've been doing for a long time in our business. One of the challenges that we face, well, the 2 biggest things that people try to do in the internet marketing world is build a list and basically get traffic, build a list. list building and traffic are the two biggest challenges that people have in the internet marketing space. Because when you have those two things, you can make sales. Without those two things, it's hard to make sales. It's hard to make any kind of sales without traffic or a list. It's hard to make your own sales as a vendor, and it's hard to make any affiliate sales as an affiliate. So a lot of people, they turn to the internet to try to learn ways to build a list and to get traffic. And that's usually what sucks them in. And they buy all these products and they spend all their time on that. And they end up failing or quitting because of that. So what we've been doing for a very, very long time is trying to get better and better and better at list building and driving traffic to our offers. And one of the things that I found is that social media is a great way to do that. And viral marketing becomes very, very possible with, now there's no need for me to explain what a virus is or how it works. Everybody knows that in this day and age, right? And we can apply viral marketing concepts. If you just break that down, a marketing campaign that spreads like a virus, meaning every time someone comes in contact with it, they share it with someone else. That's the idea that I got fixated, like obsessed with years ago. What if every single time that I had somebody come to my site, what if I get them to invite someone else? So where traditionally people would make a squeeze page or a landing page that says, hey, enter your name and email address to get this free thing, I always tried to find ways to be like, hey, invite someone else to come and enter their name and email address to get this free thing. So I was always like trying to figure out ways to do that. And you mentioned one of our products that we released years ago called Buzzinar, which kind of did that, right? It was an app that they could put on their page after they had entered their name and email. Before we gave them their free thing, we would say, hey, listen, would you like an additional free thing? Would you like the audio version and a video that goes with the ebook? And we're trying to give them an additional incentive and just say, hey, just do me a solid, click the share button, and then we'll instantly reveal this additional gift. So that was my idea of trying to get this lead to attract more leads. And we created a tool, an app that you can install on your site to help you do that. That tracks the button, that you can, make the little share window, and that worked really well. And that was called Buzzinar. But what we've seen over the years is that the email clients, Gmail, AOL, Hotmail, MSN, and we call these email clients, or the big email companies, they've become very good at filtering out marketing messages. So it's harder and harder as a marketer to get your email, your message in front of the eyeballs of the prospect that subscribed to you. It's just harder and harder. So they do this because throughout the years, they've got all these spam complaints that they've tracked. They've got these huge blacklists now of IP addresses. They just don't allow certain marketing type messages to get, the email client reads the email before you do, right? So they determine like, we don't like these keywords. We're not going to show this to them. We're going to throw it in the other folder, or we're going to throw it into spam. So even good marketers that are trying to do the right thing, a lot of times they just end up in that. And this is all because of the advances in these email clients to be able to filter you out. So a lot of people nowadays complain like, oh, deliverability sucks, my clicks suck, I just can't get the traction that I need through email marketing. And the only way to overcome that is to basically compensate. So if I send 100 emails and only 50 of them are getting through, well, the best way to make up for that is send 200 emails. But how do we do that? Well, if we can't fix the deliverability issue, or we can only improve it slightly, then let's really work on the lead capture issue. Let's get more over there. So it's really just like an equation the way that I looked at it. So I figured viral marketing is a great way to double or triple the amount of leads that you're getting with the same little bit of traffic that you push there. So now if you spend $1 on an ad, the amount of leads that you can get for that same dollar are maybe 2 leads or 3 leads instead of just 1 lead or whatever it is. So it makes your ad spend more profitable. It just helps. So what we found is that we wanted to expand on that Buzzinar concept. And I wanted to eliminate people even having to enter their name and email. I was like, okay, the steps here with Buzzinar are great because when somebody comes to my site, they enter their name and email, And then after they click the submit button, we show them another offer that says, hey, thank you. Now, would you share my page in order to get an additional free gift? And yes, some of them would and would bring more people. But I was like, what if we could skip that? What if we could just skip that process? Just make it all one button. They don't even have to enter their name and email. So we started trying to do this all different kind of ways, and it was hard to get it to work. And then we started having a little bit of success, and then it wouldn't work with some autoresponders, and then Facebook changed the way that you connect, and then that broke our thing. So over the years, over 2 years now, we've been trying all different things, and we finally got it. And it's a tool that now you don't have to enter. Your prospect no longer has to enter their name and their email address into a form for you to get their name and email address onto your list. So we skip that step. And you're basically getting them to share on their social media as well as give you their name and address without having to type it in, all when they just click that one button. And this is what Viral Traffic Boost does. And after they click the button, it redirects them anywhere you want. So if you want to send them to an offer, or you want to send them to a bonus page, whatever page, because you could program the redirect link in the button and just say, hey, after, just type the URL that you want them to be taken to after they share. And the cool thing is that VTB also, if you want it to, puts a download banner on that page, whatever page it is. You could be sending people to somebody else's page, but since they went through your button, VTB will put a download banner on that page. So this is very beneficial because now with one button, you can put that button on a site. It says, hey, look, I want to give you this free book. And if you click this button to share on Facebook, you'll be added to my list and you'll instantly get the book. So they just click the button. Facebook is gonna ask them, say, hey, are you sure you want to share on Facebook? Because they got a two-step process to get permission. And as soon as they say yes, their post goes on Facebook. So your site is now advertised on their Facebook wall and all their friends are seeing it. At the same time, their name and their email is added to your list, whichever autoresponder you've selected, because you got to connect it to your Viral Traffic Boost. And that user is taken to any website that you want that you've pre-selected, but that website is going to have a little banner on top with the download link for the thing that you promised them. So it does all three of these things. So there's no need for long, complicated funnels. There's no need for them to even get an email and confirm that they want to be on the list and all that. All of this stuff is, we've eliminated all those hoops. We've eliminated the need for them to even type it. So this increases the conversion rate. It increases the effectiveness of your landing pages because now people can just opt in with so by increasing the effectiveness of your landing page, we can get more people on your list, which basically compensates for the lack of deliverability and the lack of clicks. So everything in your marketing gets better as a result of keeping up with the times and staying ahead of the times and eliminating these unneeded steps. And this is what Viral Traffic Boost does.
That to me, that's just totally mind-blowing, right? Because I mean, I don't even know how it's fascinating for me to sit here and listen to you explain that, because I'm thinking to myself, how does Omar come up with these ideas, right? Because it's just I could see now that when you started with the idea of Buzzinar, right? You kind of eliminated some of those things. Yeah, it was successful, but you said, hey, you know what? Let me take this away. It'll be even more successful. Now, let me ask you this. When you got, I don't know, were you in the shower? Were you sleeping? Were you in bed? When you got this concept in your head, did you initially say, I'm going to do this for this particular target market, or what was the thought process there?
No, the thought process was, I'm doing it for me. I need to make more sales, So, it wasn't an epiphany that I had in the shower. It wasn't a dream that I had. It evolved slowly from the door-to-door days, because remember, we are so limited in time, so people get home from work 6, 7 p.m. It gets dark 9 p.m. I got 3 hours and I got a whole neighborhood that I got to go to, right? So you get very clever and you start doing suggestive selling and you start asking for referrals. So at every house that I talk to a customer, I would say, hey, listen, who do you know right now that's having a problem with bugs? Which one of your friends would love this service? I would say, oh, you know who told us? John across the street. He was having mosquitoes the other day. Man, you should go over there. So, okay, what, John, which house number? So now I'm going right to, so I got this guy, this customer, to suggest the sale. So this was back from my door-to-door sales, suggestive selling. We would use, greed factor. I would have the stubs, like let's say these were payment stubs from customers that I'd already bought, and I would pull them out of my pocket and I would say, hey, look, you see your neighbor John over there in that house? He just picked one up. He just activated his system. And I'm sure you know Mary, right? She's got the 3 little kids right over there with the blue car. Yeah, they just signed up too. So I would use these things to help my selling, right? So this would be my greed factor or my social proof. And then I would ask for referrals, right? So when I came online, I lost the ability to interact like that face-to-face with customers. So I had to find other ways, like, okay, well, how can I get referrals online? I want every customer. So if Mike came to my site because he downloaded a book and he's interested in this topic, he probably has friends that are also interested in this topic, right? So you used to be an EMT, or you used to be, so that means that if you're an EMT, chances are you have some friends on your Facebook that are still EMTs or that are also EMTs. And if you came to my site and you downloaded a free resource for EMTs, and I asked you to share, you're going to share it on your page, and other people like you with similar interests that are your friends are going to see it as well. And now they're going to click, and the process repeats itself. So I had to find a way to replicate that referral system in a digital way. And that's where Buzzinar started. But then to keep up with the times, I wanted to make it super, super drop dead easy and eliminate okay, you don't even have to enter your name and email. I tried to eliminate as many steps as I possibly could in the process. And that's where and you know what, I still have things that we're trying to do, that we're testing. We've been testing new versions that we haven't released yet because we're testing new features and trying to get the new features to work and do things. And it's an ongoing development process. But it's a great question. The idea and everything stemmed from getting referral sales. Like even when you don't make a sale, if you're talking to someone, it's a good idea to say, hey, well, who do you think does need this? Who do you think could use this? So getting referral business is always a great practice for any salesman. And this is essentially doing the same thing on your website. It's getting referral business. It's saying, hey, if you click this button, I'm going to give you this free thing, but you're basically telling your friends about my site. And then when they come to the site, you're telling them. So it repeats. It keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. That's the viral effect.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. And you know what? Subconsciously or intuitively, you brought the lesson or the story back to your beginning. And I one of the questions that I had for you was, if you had a viral traffic booster back when you first started, what major steps would you had avoided, or what major mistakes, or what major delays, but probably better said, right, would you have avoided through that process? I know, like you mentioned before, list building is not what it used to be 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, right? People were more apt to just put their name and email and, yeah, okay, I'll download the ebook, whatever. Now they're a little bit more standoffish, a little bit more, aside from the fact of what you mentioned, that Google is not, the email carriers are not, sending mail the way they used to. Now they're filtering a lot more. But with all that said, what do you think would be the major benefit that you would have gained right from the get-go, right from the beginning, using this?
Well, that's a tough question, because I try to take this tool and go back. Like I'm thinking like the Back to the Future. Like if I had a DeLorean and I can get in my Back to the Future car and I could go back and I could bring these tools, it'd be tough because they wouldn't work. They wouldn't work back then because they're built for software and platforms that are out now. So back then the Facebook API to integrate and share wouldn't exist. Back then WordPress was like in its infancy. It was still WordPress 1.0. So we didn't have mobile responsiveness. We didn't have smartphones. So if we went back there right now with the same, people would look at me like a freak. Like, what is that? What is a share button? Why would I want to share? Who needs that? But if I went back there with the concept I would probably shave quite a bit of time of my learning curve, because the concept of viral sharing is something that I really didn't, of viral marketing is really something that I didn't start doing until about 4 or 5 years into my career, where, you know, eventually you reach a level where you're like, okay, I'm already making money. I've already scaled it up. I've already got this consent. What can I do now to kind of, you know, grow what I've already done without me having to grow the amount of hours I'm putting in? So you want to try to create systems that duplicate what you're doing without you having to do it. Because it's very easy. Like, if you want to make twice the money that you're making right now, just get 2 jobs, right? But what you want to do is you want to make twice the money you're making now without having an extra job, right? So the idea was, how can I scale? How can I get twice the traffic with the same amount of effort? And I didn't go into my initial career in internet marketing with that mentality. I went in with the mentality of, I'm going to be rich tomorrow. I just got to find the thing that's going to make me rich. You know what I mean? But instead, when I started thinking of ways where, like, okay, how am I going to leverage the traffic that I do have? How am I going to squeeze the most out of it? And I think eventually there's just so many offers that you can sell to the same people, but you can get those people to bring you more people. And that's just, you know, so instead of trying to get that one person and try to sell them 13 upsells, why not just show that person one upsell and then ask them to invite 13 people, right? You're going to have a lot more success. You're going to have a lot happier customers, and you're going to be a much more, you know, calm person, because you don't have to deal with all these upsells and all these things. So that's what I think would have influenced my business a lot more if I had just started thinking that way a lot earlier.
Yeah, the viral part of it. I mean, the being able to share, and because if I'm willing to share, that means I believe this is a great product or it's something beneficial. So being able to share with people that you know things that you believe is beneficial is a great strategy that I think is not utilized enough these days, right? You mentioned upsells. What upsells can you share with us? What upsells are included in the launch here?
Sure. So I'm not a big upsell person. I know that, you know, it's become kind of something that you just expect when you buy a product, you have an upsell. Viral Traffic Boost has one upsell. We have a commercial license. So if you decide that, well, first of all, you can buy two levels of Viral Traffic Boost. You can get a basic one where it just offers you one website, like one site. So you get, if you're only having one site. Then we have a little one called the Pro, where you get 3 license keys, so you can install it. If you have more than one website, it also gives you some more material, like marketing material, like the freebie giveaways and things like that. It has some done for you campaigns, but you can choose whichever one of those you want right on the sales page. We have one upsell for Viral Traffic Boost, which is a commercial license. It gives you 100 websites. So not 100 sites, but 100 keys, so you can install Viral Traffic Boost. Where this is beneficial, and you might say, well, oh my God, who the hell needs that? Well, think about the product and what it does. The product attracts traffic, builds your list, and promotes offers. Think right now, how many businesses, how many business owners, how many people out there need traffic, need subscribers, and need your help to make that happen? Businesses that maybe are just coming online for the first time because of this whole coronavirus thing that has happened recently, and now they're looking for ways to make money on the internet, but they've never done it before, right? What about your dry cleaner, local pub, your local person that wasn't really building any kind of subscriber list on the internet or doing anything digital whatsoever? What about the consumer that has an e-commerce store but needs to build a list of subscribers so he can send them offers and sales and things like that? Viral Traffic Boost can be a service that you offer people, and you charge them a fee. And you do this now, you can add this to your portfolio of products. So Viral Traffic Boost, you might say, well, Omar, you know what, I'm not going to be an affiliate marketer and all that. But you know what? Now you've got a whole bunch of people on the internet, and we already established that traffic and list building are the biggest challenges that they have. And here you have a tool that can help. And now you can offer that as a service. So if you're a vendor, or if you're an online marketer, or you have an agency, or you do any kind of online services, you can tack traffic and list building on as a new service that you offer. And when somebody says, hey, well, I just wanted to ask you a question about the traffic and list building, hey, I'm glad that you asked. Listen, we have this tool that we use. We install it on your site. We create a button. It helps share on, and you can do this now for others with a commercial license. And it's not even too expensive. It's $100, and now you can have a commercial license and you can create a business for yourself out of our tool, Viral Traffic Boost. So that's what it is. We do make an additional offer of coaching to people. My flagship product is called My Unfair Advantage. Melinda and I have a weekly coaching program. So every week at Thursdays at 9 p.m., we do a webinar and we teach our students. We do a presentation, and it's all internet marketing related. There's no sales or anything on there. So I offer that program in all my products. Like after you buy any products from me, you get an option. It says, are you interested in coaching? Would you be interested in My Unfair Advantage? And it shows them that. That's it. I'm not a big, I'm sure you've been on these funnels where it's like 13 products later, you're like, oh my God, just give me what I bought. We don't really have a need to do that because our products sell really well and we get our customers to invite more customers. So we don't have a need for long, annoying sales funnels. I usually do a back-end webinar too after the launch is over. Whenever I do a product launch, the following week, I'll usually announce a webinar to all the new customers. And I say, hey guys, come on this webinar. We're going to do a little bit of training. And on that webinar, I'll usually offer like a high ticket thing, like one of our bigger done for you services or our systems or something like that to anybody that's interested. But that's not an upsell in the funnel or anything that have to buy for it to work or anything. Those are all optional things because obviously I'm a marketer and I own a business and I have a lot of products. And when you're a new customer, you can expect that I'm going to offer these things to you. So that's usually what we do. So you have the choice of a basic or a pro account on the front page. Then we do an upsell for the commercial license. Then once you join, we ask if you'd like coaching. And that's it. Then you're done. And then the following week, we invite you to come to a webinar where we're going to do some training and we're possibly going to offer a high ticket product. And by high ticket, I mean something that might be more involved, like for serious internet marketers that are doing this full time as a business that want to get straight to the money. Something that is going to help them build their business.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man, because, what you said is totally correct. Everybody's expecting 15 pages of upsells and, it's just sometimes it gets crazy. Man, I'm part of that, My Unfair Advantage. So I'll definitely be there in tonight's webinar. I look forward to seeing you and your wife and being able to participate. You guys give some fantastic information. Again, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just finished reading a book, How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci, and he was such a brilliant guy. He was so many centuries ahead of himself. I mean, when he left and when he died, and they looked at his journals. He had things there that we didn't understand until 200 or 300 years later, right? Which is just, and I'm putting you in the same, same category, man. So I really appreciate you, Omar. Really do. You and your wife are just stellar online marketers, and you guys really offer and give a lot to the community, and I totally appreciate that because we need more people like you and what you do for everything, for people that are just starting out, right? People that don't know. Your story there, I mean, I could have cut this video in the first 15 minutes just after your story, and people could have taken some really good chunks out of that and done something with it. So anyway, again, thank you very much for spending time with me. I really, truly appreciate it. I think this is going to be a blow up a product. I think it's gonna help a lot of people. I'm in there 100%, and also with your coaching program, My Unfair Advantage. I mean, it's a great tool that you're offering, and I truly appreciate everything you and your wife are doing. So thank you very, very much, man.
Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that you invited me on here, and I encourage everybody that's watching, no matter what hardships you're going through. It was very difficult for myself and Melinda in the beginning. Just keep going, man. Keep pushing through. Become a better version of yourself, and just stick with it, because if you give up, you're guaranteed to fail. But if you keep trying, man, eventually you'll get there.
Very good, man. That's the perfect way to end it, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Omar.
All right, Mike. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Thank you.